I always am interested when people are showing me how to do something. And one of the questions I get asked all the time is about food. And in fact, this entire month, we've been talking about food as it relates to diabetes, as it relates to our health, and as it relates to metabolic syndrome. And so tonight, you're going to get to see some of the things that I have been making. And we're going to spend some time talking about healthy food. And we're going to make some portobello mushroom steaks, some sauteed tofu. We're going to do some garnishing. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And in this year, y'all, new year, new you. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes. How do we put your diabetes in remission? How do we get you off of medication? Improve your metabolic health? How do we deal with your weight? In fact, how do we reverse your diabetes? That's what we're talking about in this year. If you're new to me as well, go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music. And to just say welcome to the community. If you have questions as we go through the evening, go ahead and put those in the chat and make sure you put a Q in front of them so I know that that's a question that I need to get to. For all of you who are out there, we welcome you to the show tonight, wherever you're joining us from, whether it's here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whether you are on LinkedIn or Twitch, any of those platforms, we welcome you here tonight as we move into the show. I'm excited about this, y'all, because you remember what we've been talking about for this month. What's been our challenge? Our challenge has been to create a meal that falls into these categories, right? So whole foods, not a whole lot of processed foods. We want to make sure that it is no sugar added, starchy and non-starchy vegetables, healthy fat, lean protein, tasty, and appropriate portion sizes. That's what we're talking about. That's been the challenge. And we're here, y'all, at the end of the month. Can you believe it? Another month in the books. That's right. We are right here at the cusp of the end of the month of April as we move into May. Those of you out there around the country who are having some bad weather, our hearts go and our prayers go out to you. I know one of our community members kind of sent me a message that they were having some weather issues. So we are keeping you in mind, and I want you all to remember to stay safe, right, in wherever you find yourselves. If you're out there, go ahead. If you've been following us, let us know where you are, right? That's part of this whole process. If you've been fasting, let us know how often you've been fasting, how many hours you've been able to fast. If you've cooked your meal, if you've created the meal, go ahead and send us a picture or a video, info@dwaynewoodmd.com, info@dwaynewoodmd.com, so that we can share that with the rest of the community members. If you are having some places where you are finding yourself stuck, don't think that you are by yourself. Go ahead and share those with us because we would love to be able to encourage you and to say to you that it can be done. If you've been on the show, if you've been watching us, you know there are people who are coming on to let us know that they've made significant strides, not in just blood sugar, but also significant strides in all of the things that we are talking about in terms of our metabolic syndrome. And remember that metabolic syndrome doesn't just cover diabetes. There are all kinds of other medical issues that people face in terms of the metabolic health, whether it's high blood pressure, high cholesterol, polycystic ovarian syndrome, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, obesity, and on and on and on. And you, in this space, will find a place where you can be successful. All right. I do see some folks out there, so let me just say hi really quickly. So Jennifer is out there. Jennifer says, howdy, y'all. Jennifer, thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. Steve is saying hello. Glad that you are here. And then Shireen, hey, from New York, y'all. She's saying good evening, everybody, from Brooklyn. Shireen, thanks for hanging out with us here. And then those of you who are on other platforms, just say hello. If you know someone who's out there who's not here right now, go ahead and send them the link and let them know that we are having a good time. All right, y'all. So you guys saw what we are planning to do tonight. We're talking about cooking with Dr. Wood, okay? And I went into the kitchen and I cooked a few things, and we're going to spend some time looking at those and walking through that process tonight. And we're going to share with you some of the recipes that I've been doing, right? So portobello mushrooms, tofu. Now, we are a big tofu house, right? So we eat a lot of tofu. Yeah, we cook tofu every single week. There's something on our menu that we eat with tofu, and it's typically, and you'll see as I do the tofu, you'll see what that looks like. And this is typically how we start the process. Okay, what we're doing, we're starting the process. And the other point I want to make is, as I'm making these different dishes, I am creating kind of the base, and then we'll come back and show you how we garnish that and what we do here as we get into the show tonight. So the first thing that we want to talk about is we're going to talk about making some tofu. Right? We're going to talk about tofu. Now, tofu is a wonderful, versatile thing that you can do. Okay. Particularly and the reason I chose these tonight is because often our vegetarians and our vegans, we don't talk a lot about the things that they can eat. You know, everybody talks about the steak and everybody talks about the chicken and the fish and so forth. But I specifically wanted to do this tonight because not only can they eat it, but also those of you who are not vegetarian and are not vegans can also prepare these dishes and add them to the things that you're eating. So they're very versatile. And one of the most versatile pieces of food that you can find is tofu. Okay. And our family, we usually get the firm tofu, and you'll see that here in just a minute. And it will take on the flavor, y'all, of whatever you put it in. Right. And it can take on the shape. It can take on the consistency of a lot of things. In fact, I've used tofu to make chicken nuggets for my son. Right. He eats a lot of tofu. And we were off this past summer camping, and they were wanted to make some chicken nuggets, tofu nuggets. And so we used tofu for that. Interesting thing about tofu, when you make the nuggets, we had to freeze it and thaw it and freeze it and thaw it. And anyway, there's a whole process that goes in that. But then it takes on the consistency of chicken nuggets, if you will. Well, not if you will, but take on the consistency of chicken nuggets. And so we were able to have that. All right. So let's hop over and let's talk a little bit about the tofu. And you'll see there that this is the tofu that we typically use. There are lots of different brands. This is one of them. And you'll see that this is the extra firm. And I like the extra firm tofu because it does not crumble easily. You can handle it without being afraid that it's going to just fall apart. If you freeze tofu, take it out of the refrigerator, freeze it again, take it out, and then you press it, right? You can wrap it in a clean kitchen towel paper towel, and you press it, and all the fluid will come out of that, and then you can handle it. But anyway, so tofu. So that's the tofu that we use, and that's the block of tofu. And when I cook, I typically use two of these. In this video that you're watching here, I actually use just one, I believe. Well, yes, I used one. And so in this case, I'm slicing it into almost like steaks, right? So those are maybe a 1/4 inch thick. And so I'm just basically slicing that, and then you'll see as we get into the cooking part of this here in just a minute. You can make tofu steaks with this, right? So I didn't. In this case, when we get to the next episode or next video, we'll see that we made some portobello steaks, but you can actually make tofu steaks with this as well. And there we just sliced it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 different slices. And then we are getting ready now to go over to the stove and get that. So in terms of what you use, a lot of people, we use, this is a spray oil that we use here in our house. We use this for a lot of things. It decreases the amount of oil, if you will, that we use. We do use extra virgin olive oil as well, and you'll see that here in just a minute when we get to one of the other dishes. But anyway, so basically you're spraying the pan. I've done this on the grill before, but here we're doing just in the pan. We'll let that pan get hot. And depending on what you're looking for in terms of the sear that you're using, right? You can let this get hotter or not as hot. You can do it on a medium heat. I kind of do it on a kind of a medium heat. I think this one was a little hotter than I may have intended. You see already some of the spray is getting darker. And so what you do, depending on how firm you want this, depending on the color that you want, you will let this go, and you can let it on each side for about 2 to 3 minutes before you turn it. In this case, I went ahead and I started moving it around right away. If you cook tofu, if you use tofu down and you're in our community right now, go ahead and put yes. Say yes if you eat tofu. If you don't, just put a no. And so we kind of sped this up a little bit so you guys can, so we're not spending the whole time just watching this. See, now it's getting kind of golden brown on each side. And you can get this, and you'll see here in a little while. We're gonna use, and so Bragg's liquid amino has a very delicious flavor. It's almost not like, a lot of people say it's like soy sauce. It doesn't quite have that flavor, but it does add a beautiful, rich flavor to lots of food. And we use it for tofu, but you can use it for a lot of other things. Our son loves the flavor of the Bragg's amino acid. And you'll see as I do this, the color of the tofu, or the tofu will pick up some of that color and get a little darker. It depends on who cooks it at our house. I tend to do it darker. My wife tends to do it a little lighter. And at one point, my son did not like it dark. And there's some Lawry's seasoning that we're going to use there again. And some garlic powder. And basically, you can season this to your taste, guys and gals. Okay? As you know, and onion powder, as you know, I like spicy food. I didn't put a lot of black pepper in this during this one. And depending on how you like it. So right now, you see, I'm putting a pretty hefty amount of seasoning on it, right? Because we like it in our house. We like it to be very flavorful. And like I said, it picks up the flavor of whatever you put it in. And so we like that texture. And you see here as I go ahead and take that out and begin plating it. Right? And that's as simple as it is to make the tofu. Now, this is not the end of this, because you'll see at the end what we're going to do with this, but this is as simple as it is, right? So like I said, I like mine a little darker, depending on how you like it and depending on the dish that you're going to put it in, depending on the texture that you want, how firm you want it. Do you want it really seared? Do you want it kind of just lightly sauteed and still have kind of that white tannish color to it? And here, what I've done is I've taken tofu, a different set of tofu, and I've cut it into chunks, right? And we're going to basically do similar things with it, right? So we cut this into cubes. I said chunks, but into cubes. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to saute this just in a similar way as we did the other, the tofu slices. I see Suzanne said, yes, she uses tofu. Jennifer says occasionally eats tofu. She said, darn, on the second day of a 3-day fast. This looks so good. Yes, Jennifer. But yeah, so basically, we heated the pan. We've got our spray that we've put in. I'm spraying some more, and you'll see that starting to get brown. Now, one of the things that, and depending on who you are, what you're cooking, some people say let it get brown and don't touch it again because sometimes it'll start breaking up. And you'll see here as I get to the end, some of these will start to chunk. But if you're doing, and so this is the seasoning. So we've got some Lawry's, we got no garlic powder, some onion powder, and yeah, I think that's Lawry's that we've put in there again, and basically seasoning that up, and then mixing it up. Okay. And so that color before I put the, let me go back here. So before I put the brags on it, let's back up a little bit. So right there, that's the way my son used to like it, right? See how part of it is, you still have some golden on some sides, but for the most part, they're pretty light. That's how he used to like it. And when my wife cooks it, that's kind of the way she still does it. Mine, you'll see it here in just a minute because I've got the seasoning on it, but I'm also going to add some brags. And once you put the brags, y'all, then we get that kind of brownish golden color. And so I'm trying my tossing. I'm not a very good. I got to learn how to do that. So what's your favorite way for like Suzanne, sorry, and Jennifer, who said they occasionally eat. How do you typically make your tofu? All right. So that, y'all, is as simple as tofu is. And you can actually cook this within, I don't know, 15 minutes. Okay. And you can make either the steaks or the slices, or you can make the cubes that we just did. Any of those would be good. And then you can take that and you can put it with lots of different dishes. Right, the cubes, you can put that in soup. You can use the slices, like I said, as steaks, and you could top it with other things. I love it because it is a good source of protein, right? And it's not very carby. So for diabetics, it's actually a wonderful addition to your repertoire. Okay. What I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and show you. Let's get back here for just a second. I want to go ahead and show you the recipe for this. Okay. And so basically 1 block of tofu, 2 tablespoons of Bragg's, 1 teaspoon of garlic, 1 teaspoon of Lawry's, 2 teaspoons of olive oil. In this case, I didn't use olive oil. I used the Pam spray. Okay. And then, of course, you can have optional seasonings. You can do, green onions and sesame oil seeds, depending on, like, if you're making an Oriental dish, something, for instance, you're making hot and sour soup or any of those, then sesame seed oil is actually very delicious, by the way. So one tip that you can do is you take this, if you're trying to press out the liquid, you can put it between paper towel or a clean towel in the kitchen and put something heavy on it, and that will press out the liquid. Okay. Let's see. Jennifer says she fries with stir fry. Okay. And Suzanne says she air fries it. Wow. Okay. I've never air fried it, but I've seen those. How does it taste? Is it, well, I shouldn't say how it tastes. Is it crispier than when you fry it? Have you ever tried frying, Suzanne? Janet, hey, thanks for coming through. Janet says she says looks yummy. Let me get back over here and I could put some of these comments on the screen, y'all. Let's do this one. Okay, yeah, let's go back up here. All right, so let's see. So we said, Jennifer saying hi to Steve. Jennifer saying hi, Shireen, here from Nebraska. That's right. Jennifer's in Nebraska. Steve says hello. Suzanne said yes, she has done tofu before. Occasionally eats tofu for Jennifer. And then of course Jennifer says she's on a second day of a 3-day fast. Suzanne fries with stir fry, or Jennifer fries with stir fry. Suzanne in the fryer. Janet says it looks yummy. Hey Janet, thanks for coming through. Sesame seed oil adds a lot of flavor. Yeah, that is true. That is true. It's very delicious. And then Teresa says, "Hello everyone. I'm driving, so I will be listening." Okay, yeah, glad that you're here. Suzanne says she hasn't compared it. It's nice on the outside. Inside depends on how much you dried it. Okay, yeah, for sure. All right, so let's hop over now and let's take a look at our next thing that we're gonna make. And this one is, and so anyway, so that's let's go back and finish up this one. So that is the tofu, the sauteed tofu. We're going to put this on the website somewhere if you guys want to download it. We'll have that available for you, okay? And then, of course, the instructions are over on the side. But basically, you saw how we did this. Tofu is so versatile that I was going to say there's not much you can do to mess it up. It will assume the flavor that you put there, okay? So if you have a specific way of cooking, like if you grill a lot, you can put it on the grill. If you have one of those George Foreman grills, you can do it in the house in the grill. If you have a flat grill, you can put it there as well. So very versatile. If you want to chunk it up, as a matter of fact, I've seen people take tofu, right, and break it up and cook it, and it looks like scrambled eggs. Okay, so you can do a lot of different. They put some turmeric in it, and it takes that color of eggs, and it is delicious. It is delicious, y'all. Okay, so that's the benefit of tofu. So let's go over and let's take a look at one of our non-starchy vegetables, and let's make some cauliflower rice. And so I've got a head of cauliflower, and I've washed it, and I've just chunked it. And you can either put this at this point in the blender, but I decided I was going to do it the hard way, the long way, and I'm just using a grater, and I'm just grating that down. And what I basically want is for it to take on the consistency or the texture or the size of like rice. Okay, and you see me kind of going at it there. So those 4 pieces, and I was surprised actually at how much it came out to be. Right, didn't expect that much, but there it is, right? And so that's it. And at this point, let me pause this for a second and just say that at this point, you have a couple of options. You can steam this, you could put it in a pan, and you can bake it. Suzanne, I'm sure you can probably put this in the fryer, don't you think? We can probably put it in the fryer, but what I decided to do was I was going to put it in a frying pan. Right, because I like to fry, but basically that's what it looks like, right? It looks almost like rice, but right here you can take this, you can actually put it in a microwave, y'all. Put it in a microwave, and you can put a little bit of salt, a little bit of butter, and that's it, or margarine, or some other fat, non-animal based fat. Yep. So there's my pan, and here I'm using extra virgin olive oil. Right, so you can see that. So we don't always, I don't always use the spray, but you do use less oil if you do use the spray. So basically, put some oil in there. That pan is hot. You can see a little bit of steam. We're going to go ahead and coat the bottom of the pan. And then we're going to get the bowl of cauliflower and basically drop it in and begin to get that sauteed. Suzanne is saying that we could do a cauliflower rice and tofu croquettes. Yeah, right. And so basically, and this doesn't take long, right? So once you put it in, as you guys know, cauliflower is pretty. It steams quickly. So basically, I'm going to add some salt, some iodized salt from a shaker, but I wanted you to see what I'm using. You can put Laurie's seasoning here as well. You can put garlic powder. You can put onion powder. You can saute it with other things, right? And that is pretty much done, guys. I'm covering this down, and we're ready to go. Okay, so that is as quickly as you can do the cauliflower. Let's hop over and I guess let me ask: has anybody used or made cauliflower rice before? If you did, say yes. And do you like it? Right now, you can do a lot of different things. If you're trying to cut back on rice, if you're trying to cut back on those high starch foods, drop in the comments for me. What have you used in the past to substitute for things like rice? Right, and we're looking for low carbohydrate options. Right, what have you used in the past to substitute for rice? All right. Okay, Jennifer says yes. She's made cauliflower rice before. And did you steam it, or did you basically saute it like I did? Or did you do some other method? Okay. All right. And then, y'all, here goes one of my favorite things. Okay. One of my favorite things is these guys right here. Right. So went to the grocery store, got some portobello mushrooms. Right. These are sliced. They're already pre-sliced. Right. And then we went and we got some of the caps, and there's basically 2 of those. And I had already opened them, but I realized I wasn't gonna be able to show you guys, so I put them back in and and brought it. So I'm at the sink now. One of the things, and I probably should have left these together, because once you take that little part of the stem out, they break up a little bit. But you basically wash them. You can wipe them off with a paper towel, and then go ahead and wash them. But this is what I did. Some people will just take these and rinse them off and drop them on a grill. But since I'm not grilling, we're going to do that right here at home in a pan. In fact, that very same pan that you guys saw before that I've been doing everything else in. All right, so we got rid of some of those. Oh, we lost a couple. All right, and so this is washing the sliced ones. And depending on what you're doing, what you're making, and I'll combine them, right? Sometimes I'll do these, and so I've got some parsley that I'm going to cut up here. So one day I'm getting one of those big fancy kitchens like the chefs on TV. And you guys can come over. We can all cook together, right? So I'm making a marinade. Oh, let me back up. So let's go back there. So I'm making a marinade, and look at. So I've got some extra virgin olive oil, but look at that, y'all. Balsamic vinaigrette. That's salad dressing. Okay, and that adds a beautiful flavor to it. So basically, I'm mixing that in. Some black pepper, because some thyme, some onion powder, garlic powder. And just basically mixing that up. Some more of the vinaigrette. And I love the little squeeze that's jalapenos and garlic. A little bit more of the garlic, extra virgin olive oil. And basically, I'm going to cover those up. And to make these pretty, you can marinate this for 20 to 30 minutes. But we kind of sped that up. We heated the pan. we put the portobello mushrooms in there, cap side down first. And then I just added all of the other pieces of sliced portobello. And notice all of these are dishes that I'm making, right, in preparation for what I'm going to do. So you can actually, we talked about pre-making, prepping before at the beginning of the week. So you can make tofu and put it in the refrigerator, right? You can make these guys. And so there we got a good sear on that one side. I'm going to turn that over. All right, boom. And then we got these guys that we're going to do. Look at that. I mean, you should smell that. It is delicious. And then just because I did not want to give up one of the things I do when I cook steaks, you'll see here in just a minute. We added a little bit of, I pressed that a little bit, get some of that out. And you don't have to do this, but I did it because I want it to be, and it, when you eat these, I mean, the consistency is very, is beefy, right? So it's some smart balance. So we're going to drop that in. Right. Yeah, we put quite a bit in there, guys. Yep. And then I've got some garlic, cloves, and then that is cilantro is what I put in there. Right, you can use rosemary, right, if you're interested in that. And we basically just kind of got all that. We started basting this thing, right? Have you ever had a portobello mushroom hamburger? That is delicious, right? So there we are. So that's there. We're gonna go ahead and get this out, put it on the plate. And these are all very simple things that you can do. Right? It doesn't take a lot of prep. It doesn't take a lot of work. It doesn't take a lot of time. Right? Because everything that we've made so far, the tofu, say that takes 10 minutes to make, right? The cauliflower rice takes another 10 to 15 minutes. And the portobello mushrooms takes 15 minutes. That's half an hour, right? So that is our portobello mushrooms that we've done. Okay. So now we're prepped. We've done it. What do you think we're going to make? What do you think we're going to do to some of these? You guys saw some of the pictures for the advertisement, the little thumbnail, right? So now the mushrooms, also they pick up a flavor of whatever you put them in, right? And what I did not do is I did not show you the recipe for the cauliflower rice. Let me do that really quickly. So cauliflower rice, basically this is what it is, right? So you get 1 head of cauliflower, a tablespoon of olive oil, salt, pepper to taste. You can do garlic powder, onion powder, Lawry's, or whatever. You can do Bragg's, right? Depending on what color you want. If you want to simulate like a brown rice, you can do that. You can add color to it. And then basically the instructions there on the other side. And then the portobello mushrooms. This is the ingredient list, and then the instructions as well. Okay? And then so what do you think we're going to do with these? Right? So let's go ahead and hop over and let's just do it. Let's do it. So what I'm going to do is for each of the things that we just made, right? So I'm going to make some topping, something that I'm going to put on it. So I got a carrot, just one, I think, 1 or 2. And I'm basically peeling that. And then I've got 1 onion. Well, cut that part off. All right, 1 onion. And guys, yeah, this is how I cut my onions. That's okay. It is a thing. My wife says you're gonna cut your hand off. I do it like my dad did it. So hey, thank you, Daddy. All right, and we got a pepper, bell pepper, some green onions. Yeah, green onion, 1 onion, and of course the carrots. So I'm go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and cut this up. We're gonna do slices. And that's the island in our kitchen. Right. And so I really wanted chunks. Right, so that's how we cut it. And there's our green onion. And once again, I'm not cutting this fine, right? I gotta get a better board. And there is our pepper. So our red pepper. Rinse, we took all the seeds out. And then we're gonna go ahead and slice that. And what I'm doing now is I am actually, you saw me make the tofu, you saw me make the cauliflower rice, you saw me make the portobello steaks, and now the question is what am I going to do with it? What are we going to put on it? And that's what I'm doing now. And you may have a particular saute that you use. You may have a particular garnish that you like. You may have some particular vegetables that you like to use. And this part right here is where the creativity comes in. This is where you get to try new things. You can make the same tofu, right? The same way that we just did. And then you can use lots of different vegetables in this part of what we're about to do. Okay, so once again, we've got our pan, we've heated it up, and we're gonna, so those are some of the vegetables that I cooked. Notice it's not all of them, right? And basically, I'm gonna saute this. A little bit more spray. Got that going. And depending on how you want this to garnish whatever you're making. Right. And I got some water in there. Put some cherry tomatoes. Add a little seasoning, and I've covered that down. And then we're going to take this here in just a minute, and we're going to put it aside because we're not done yet. All right, so I'm breaking up those cherry tomatoes. Right, and that's, that's where I want it. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in a bowl because we're gonna use that in just a minute. And then back to the stove. Right, and so now we're back at the stove. And we've taken some more of the rest of that, and we've sauteed it. And here I'm going to add, well, I'll let you see the video. We've got that going, and go ahead and got that sauteed. And we're going to add the rest of the, well, some of the garnish from the portobello mushrooms. Or the marinade, I said the garnish, but the marinade. So we've got that there that we're mixing in. Cover that down. Let it steam a little bit. And guys, you should smell this. I mean, it is delicious. Right? It smells delicious, and yeah. You'll see here in just a minute the final product. All right, and so here we have some organic barbecue sauce that we're going to add to that. All right, just a touch. Get that all stirred up. And then we're going to go ahead and put that into a bowl. Right? So notice what we're doing, right? So we made the tofu, we made the cauliflower rice, we made a portobello mushroom. And then we're going to see here in just a minute our final product. But hey, if you're out there, if you've done, if you've gone ahead and done your challenge for this month, remember what our challenge was. It was to create a meal that had whole foods, not processing, right? So minimize the processing, no added sugar. And notice in this, whole foods, minimize the processing, not a lot of added sugar. We did use non-starchy vegetables. I didn't actually use a lot of starchy vegetables, although some people would put the carrot in the starchy vegetable arena. And then healthy fats, lean proteins, right? So there's protein in there, right, in the vegetables and in the mushroom, but not anything, because this is actually a vegan/vegetarian meal that I was doing. For all of the for instance, if I say butter, you can replace that, margarine, so forth. You can replace that with alternatives, tasty, and then appropriate size, right? So this was the challenge, or this is the challenge for this month, and this is where we are. So if you've done that, go ahead and make sure you send that in, because I'd love to see it, and we would love to share it with the rest of our community so that they can see what's been going on. Okay, before we get over to our to show what we've finished with, I want to go ahead and take a look at blood sugars. And so here's my blood sugar of 104 is what my Libre is saying right now. My Dexcom is saying 110, and let's see. Let's go ahead and do this. And so you could see my average blood sugar over the last 14 days, 107. Over the last 90 days, 113. And you'll see that there on the screen. And then if I look at each of the days, let's talk about what's been going on since I ended my fast back on Friday. All right, so Friday evening, right at 6 o'clock, we ended the fast right there. And you'll see blood sugars over the course of the rest of that 6 hours to midnight. We got up to about 94. And if you remember, I did not break the fast with what I typically did. I ended up eating some cheese, and you'll see that this right here is the result of cheese, right? And so the rest of the day, into the next morning, 120. And then a friend of ours had a birthday party in the park. And so I had some chicken, some curry chicken, y'all. Curry chicken right there. And in it, there were garbanzo beans and a couple of pieces of potato. Right. So they were chunks, kind of cubes like you saw in the video that we just did with the tofu. And look at that. Right. So up to about, was that 160 was the highest there. And then started coming back down. And then the next day, right, which is Sunday, in the 120s, 130s. And then my wife and I went out to lunch. We had our date day. And let's see. Actually, you know what? I actually took some pictures for you guys. Let's see. Let's do it this way. Okay. So that was a Caesar salad with salmon. Caesar salad with salmon. That's what I had. Caesar salad. And I had so that's the plate, y'all. You could tell I did not like it, right? I did not like it at all. And I also had cream of chicken soup. So that's what this is. So cream of chicken soup and a Caesar salad is what we had, and that is what you see here. Right into the rest of that evening, up to 140s, and then of course coming into today, we've been in the 110s, 120s. 136, 140, and then into what we are doing right now. Okay, all right. So that's what blood sugars are showing. I think for right now, I'm going to forego doing our. Well, no, let's not do that. I'm going to do it. Okay. So let's go ahead and let's see what my meters are showing. So my contour and my Keto Mojo meter. Because I know some of you are probably interested in seeing what my ketones are going into today. Let's go ahead and let's grab those and then get a poke here for a drop of blood, which we'll do on the Keto Mojo. Get another drop for the contour. Okay, so 103 is what that is. And last time I ate was at lunch today, by the way. That was about 1 o'clock. And I had, what did I have for lunch? I had 2 hamburger patties with a slice of cheddar and a slice of pepper jack. Oh, sorry, and 2 onion rings. All right, so here is the, so we'll get to see what my ketones are. All right, so 104 for blood sugars and ketones. It gave me an error. All right, so we'll have to do that here in just a minute. I'll go ahead and put another strip in so that we can do that. But this is a great place for us to go ahead and do our thought of the day. So let's do that right now. And our thought of the day is this. It is that you have control over you. Oh yeah, seems like a simple thing, right? But you have control over you. Within your space, you have control. Outside of you, that control belongs to the person that's there. But my conversation with myself, the things I do within my space are under my control. Now, we've talked a lot about how our hormones, insulin, for example, and cortisol will push us to do and eat different things. That's the whole premise of the heat model. It is a fight. It is a battle often. In fact, in the office, I often tell people that a lot of times the fight against the food is not a fight that we can win, because the fight against the food negates the things that are going on in our lives that are pushing us to eat the food. In other words, it said it's the food's problem. It's the food's fault. It is the carbohydrate. It's the cookie. It's the candy. It's the cake. It's the ice cream that is making me do this. But it really isn't that thing that's making you do it. It is the thing in you that is reaching out to the food. It is the sadness that you experience because of that family issue. It is the depression because of that thing that you are remorseful about. It is the anxiety for that unexpected place that you're heading, the new job, the new city, the new relationship. Those are the things that are pushing us in the direction of eating. And those are things that we have control over. Now you're looking at me and say, well, no, the depression I don't have, the anxiety I don't have, the history of trauma I don't have. But you can make a decision that if you don't have the tools to handle that, that you are willing to find someone that can help. That's a decision you get to make. Within your space, you have control. If you are lacking in a skill, find a place where that skill is being taught. If you're lacking in understanding, you just don't understand why it is that you keep doing that same thing, find someone that can help you evaluate that, someone that can help you find the light, shed light on that situation. Within your space, you have control. If you are overweight, uncontrolled blood sugar, you've had a heart attack, you have a stroke, your weight keeps going up, you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, you're sad and depressed because you've not been able to get pregnant because of your PCOS. If you have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and you've been to the doctor and they told you that now they're starting to see some cirrhosis. If your labs are not where they need to be, you can make the decision to find the people in your sphere, in your community, that can help you go in the right direction. Within your space, y'all, you have control. And that is our thought for today. All right, so what are we doing? What are we doing with our food? Okay, what are we doing with our food? Before I get there, let me just hop over and let's see. And I think we saw some of these, but let's say them again. So Teresa says, hi everybody. She says she's driving. Suzanne said she hasn't compared. It's nice on the outside. Inside depends on how much you dried it. And this is talking about the tofu in the air fryer, I believe. She said we could do a cauliflower rice and tofu croquette. Yes, you can. Jennifer says yes. I think she's responding to the fact that she's done portobello mushrooms before. Jennifer says she sauteed with butter. Yeah, delicious, delicious. Steve said, I attempted my first 48-hour fast this weekend. I fell a bit short at 45 hours. Man, Steve! Yo, man. 45 hours. That is amazing. Wow. And Steve says, I fell short of 48 hours, but he fell at 45 hours. Man, Steve, I'm proud of you, man. That's exciting. I love that. So keep that up. And that's a great point let me make right here, right? This is a progressive thing, right? So we're not expecting you tomorrow. If you've never fasted before, I'm not expecting you to go out tomorrow and fast for 24, 48, 36, 72 hours, right? It is a learned thing. I saw someone in the office, was it yesterday or today? Today. And they were saying that they can't fast because they're hungry. And so we're trying to, and I want you to do this, begin to evaluate, what does hunger feel like? She said, well, I just want to eat. I know I want to eat. Yes, but that's not hunger, right? There's a desire there. There is a push from the appetite there. There is the habit, right? The heat, the habit, the emotions, the access, the taste. Those things are pushing you, but not necessarily hunger. Okay. And let's see. Killary033 says, hi. Hey, Killary, thanks for coming through. And Jennifer saying, way to go, Steve. Yeah, we're proud of you, Steve. Killary says, sometimes being hungry, you simply thirsty. I think you meant thirsty. Yes. Sometimes it's not hunger. It's actually thirst, right? It's actually thirst. All right. So let's hop over, y'all, and let's see what we finally did with all the stuff, right? So we made the tofu, we made the cauliflower rice, we made the portobello mushrooms, we made the toppings, and let's take a look at a couple of the final products. So that's our portobello mushroom, and we've topped it with the onions, the garlic. We have those cherry tomatoes that we've got there. We've got the, and of course the original, right? So the portobello mushrooms are under there, and you can use this. You can top this with so many different things. So I used, look at this, how simple this was. Onions, garlic, cherry tomatoes, and carrots. That's what I used to put on top of that. And you can use so many different things. You can, if you like, if you like broccolini, if you like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, right? All of those, you can use there as well. In fact, anything that you think you can do with a steak, you can do here. Anything that you think you can do if you're used to cooking and sautéing and doing stews, you can do with portobello mushrooms, right? So any of that, and you can top it with any of that. Killary says, "Ooh my," she said, "You just break my fast." All right, so very simple. Okay, so that is, and look at that, y'all. Doesn't it look good? Yep. Just going all around it. And then here is the, this is the cauliflower rice with the tofu. And notice what I did to the tofu. I took the tofu and I covered it in the sauce and the topping that I made. Right. I could have done just the tofu and the cauliflower rice. I could actually done the tofu, and this one I think is, this is the one with the barbecue sauce. If I didn't put the barbecue sauce in there, I could have just used that by itself. I could have used the toppings that I made for the portobello mushroom to put on top of this. Right? So any of those are good options that you can do, and it is delicious, it's healthy, and it fulfills the requirement that we had for our challenge, right? So whole foods, no additional sugar, minimal processing, healthy fats, lean protein. Like I said, I did not use starchy vegetables. I did use non-starchy vegetables, although some people would put the carrot in the starchy. Portion size, right? So look at the portion size. This is great, right? So not a whole lot of stuff going on there, right? And then of course we get back to plating, right? So that's how we plated it. If you remember, that's where we started for the portobello mushrooms. Awesome. All right. So Jennifer says, let's see. Hillary said, "Oh my," she said, "You just broke my fast." And then Jennifer says, "Brussels sprouts. While you were talking, I was up potting my Brussels sprouts into bigger pots." Yes, garden is not ready yet. So all of those things, if you're out there, one of the things I wanted to show, one of the things that I wanted to show is that you have options. You have options. The thing, and I think I have it on here. Let's see, where is? Yeah, I have it. I think I'll come back and show it. We did a show where we actually cooked curry. Right, we cooked curry, and one of the things that in that show, and maybe I'll redo that as a video with you guys. But one of the things in that show is that we used rice as the base, but you can put that on top of the cauliflower rice as well, right? So it doesn't have to be regular rice, but beautiful, beautiful. Let's see. Hillary says, "Are you multi-streaming?" Yes, I am. Right now, we are going to Facebook. We're going to YouTube, of course, here. We're going to LinkedIn. We're going to Twitch. And also, we are on X right now. We are not right now streaming. I think I said it earlier, but we're not currently streaming to Instagram. But usually, we do stream to Instagram in addition to those others. And we usually do that during one of our check-ins when we do our fasting. Okay? All right. So if you're out there, if you got questions, hey, just pop them in. But guys and gals, this is it, right? So we can make choices to do healthy food. And even the dishes that we normally make in our lives, we can look at those to see how we can tweak them to make them healthier. Yeah. So make them healthier. So let's talk a little bit about what we do here, how we do it. As you know, as I always say, on this platform, we educate, we empower, and we encourage. Well, let me go back here for a second. I'll come back to that. So we educate. The shows that we do, the podcasts, the blogs that we write, the handouts that we have, all of those are with the intention of providing education, because you cannot change what you don't know and what you don't understand. Data. You need data and you need clarity. So the education that we do on the show provides some clarity for you. It helps you to begin changing that mindset, to see that there is something different that you can do. We also empower. The empowerment comes from the tools. For instance, this show was a great one, right? The tools of being able to see how you can cook in a different way. Right? Fasting, another tool that we use. The emotional intelligence, the 5 whys, the things we talked about in terms of how to adjust your medication. Those are all tools, because just having data, just having information by itself does not do what you need. You've got to begin applying the tools. And this is a great place to say, if you are not doing the challenges, make sure you're doing that. Each month we have a challenge. And our challenge for this month was to go ahead and create this dish. And these are the criteria: whole foods, minimize processing, no added sugar, starchy and non-starchy vegetables in that dish, right? Healthy meats or healthy fats, lean protein, tasty, and the appropriate size. I want you to begin walking along with us, right? So don't let this stuff just come and you put it on the shelf, but you want to make sure that you are moving in the direction that we're moving as we're going through all of the education, that you're also learning the tools. And then encouragement comes from the community. Our community is strong. Our community is vibrant as long as you are within the community and you are sharing. Okay, and we'll come to that here in just a minute. We encourage each other in our place. We encourage each other in our frustrations. We encourage each other in our successes. As you saw, I was so excited to see Steve talking about fasting, and Jennifer's here, and Teresa, and Suzanne, and Janet, and all the people who are out there, and then Hillary, right? Who's here as well. And then from Brooklyn, New York, y'all, From Brooklyn, you're so glad that Sherry is here as well. So the community, I love being in the space because you are also encouragement to me, right? You help me stay in the space where I need to be. All right, and then our heat model. Remember, these are the things that um, that push us in a direction to break our fast, to get off of our diet plan, to fall off track, as some people say, although I don't like that phrase, to fall off the bandwagon. In terms of food, these are the triggers. They are our habits. They are our emotions, our access, and our taste. The habits of, okay, well, we're watching TV, so we're going to eat a snack. It's 12 o'clock, so I've got to eat. We get together to play cards or go bowling, and so we're going to eat something, right? You're not hungry, but it is a habit. Or emotions. Emotions will drive us. I told somebody in the office today that your emotions will eat through any medications that you have. It will eat through any of the decisions that you've made, because the emotions are that strong. And so being able to harness those and to evaluate them, to feel what we feel and to understand why we feel that and begin dealing with them, that's one of the benefits that we're learning, particularly as we learned about emotional intelligence. Remember, if we're angry, lonely, tired, sad, bored, right, frustrated, all those things will push us to eat. And then access. Sometimes we eat simply because it's there, y'all. Yes, we do. You walk through the kitchen, walk through the pantry, it's in a bowl. You walk through your colleagues, walk by your colleague's desk at work, and you see that candy bowl. In fact, I go to church, and I'm walking by the church office, and there's a bowl, with the mints, and I just go over and grab a mint. I'm not hungry, right? But that's like, oh man, it's there. Let me go grab one. Okay, and then we eat because of taste, because the taste reminds us of something. It takes us back to a different place. It reminds us of being in that special place, and that's with that special person. It reminds us of the comfort that happened when we were in that bad space. That's what taste does, and these are the triggers. And then, of course, our call to action, right? Join the challenge. Join the challenge. Make sure that you're doing that, as I said. Don't just let this sit on the shelf, right? You want to be learning with us. And if you're out there right now and you say, oh my God, they're already in April, I'm so far behind. No, you're not. Start where you are. Pick up, watch the videos, and start where you are. Share your story. When you come on and you share your successes, we know that we can do it, and we're encouraged. When you share places where you're struggling, where you're having challenges, we know we're not by ourselves. And then invite a friend. Get somebody to come with you. Tell them to come on and be in this space with us. There are over 1 billion people on the planet that suffer from diabetes, high blood pressure, pre-diabetes, right? Diabetes and pre-diabetes, over 1 billion people on the planet. And all of the diseases that all of those lifestyle diseases, those can be fixed. Those can improve with the things that we are talking about here on the channel. And on down in the right or left, in the right corner or left as you're watching the screen, that is the QR code, and that will take you directly to our YouTube channel. I did have the QR code for the website, and I think I'll put it on the opposite side next time. But I think I saw Jennifer, let's see. Killary says, wow. Killary says, seasonings and spices are the best to elevate the taste of healthy and plain food. Yes, definitely. And Teresa says, hey, Dr. Wood, can you give me your New Year, New You website again to share with someone? Yes, it is DwayneWoodMD.com. DwayneWoodMD.com, www.DwayneWoodMD.com. Let's go ahead and put that in the chat, www.DwayneWoodMD.com. But if they scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, they go to our YouTube channel, and then from the YouTube channel, they can get to all the different things. Okay. Actually, let me pop that up on the screen really quickly. www.DwayneWoodMD.com. Hillary says from Canada. Hey, Hillary, that's where you're from. Hey, thanks for joining with us. We're so excited to have you come through. Jennifer says, I hope you complete your 3-day fast. Well, Jennifer, we're going to start. Actually, I'm starting a little early. I don't think I said that to you guys. I'm starting a little early today. So I had a meal at lunch, and that's my last meal. I usually start on Tuesday evening, but we're starting a little early this week. But we'll come on back and we'll talk about those as we get into the evening. Okay. As we get into the week. So you'll see that on Friday we're going to be speaking at a church. Not Friday, but on Saturday we're going to be speaking at a church. We're going to be doing some education on diabetes and then delivering the message there for the divine worship service. So so excited about that. Okay. Teresa said, go for it, doctor. Yes. And thank you, Steve. I haven't made it to 3 days the last 2 times I've tried. Okay, so Steve is saying Jennifer. Yeah, okay. So Steve is saying, Jennifer, I hope you make it 3 days. Yes, definitely. Always. And all right, so guys and gals, thank you for being here in this space. This has been an amazing show. I love this show, by the way. We are excited to be here. Jennifer is asking for the let's see. Okay, Jennifer, you are asking for the website or the YouTube channel. Let me see if I can pull that up really quickly. Let's see. And it is you can Google the Columbus, Mississippi SDA Church, and okay, I'll have to give that to you guys because I can't find it right now. Isn't that bad? Yeah, but we'll get it to you. We'll post it somewhere. Okay. But as always, glad to be in this space with you. You encourage me. You help me educate myself. You keep me accountable. And I love to hear that I'm not by myself, y'all. There's nothing like knowing that there are people out there that are in the space with you. And I love this community because you guys continue to elevate, continue to make me better as I learn about myself and as I learn how to communicate this information to you. That's one of the benefits of having you here, right? Because there's all this stuff in my head that we've learned in medical school and through practice. And in the office, when I see my patients, when I see clients, I'm always trying to find what is the best way to get people to understand. And you're part of that process as well. Because as I'm explaining things to you, I come up with different ways of saying, okay, maybe I should say it this way or explain it that way. Or this is a better understanding. Or when you say, hey, I got that. I say, okay, that's one I need to keep. That's an example I need to keep. So thank you for all that you do. As always, I'm Dr. Dwayne Wood. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And in this year, y'all, new year, new you. Good night. We'll see you at one of our check-ins. Bye-bye.